Um, all right, so maybe we'll jump right in. This is for anybody that is new to this call, this is our Friday edition of Open Q&A, Military Trailblazer Office Hours. The goal here is that if you have any questions, whatever it is, we have a wide range of experience on this call, and we'll try to do whatever we can to help you out. All that I ask is that if you do have a question, just use the raise hand icon that's at the bottom there, just so we have kind of an order of questions as people raise their hands. So that being said, does anybody have any questions or topics that they wanted to go through for today? Julia, yeah, you got.
I have a silly question. If you have two master detail relationships to an object, and I want to do separate record types, it seems like the fields are still required on both of the master detail required fields are on the page layout, right? You can't like differentiate the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me say that back to you. So you have an object that has master detail relationships looking up to two parent, almost like a junction object.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And you're saying that you have record types, and the hope is, I'm assuming that if you select record type A, only master detail relationship A would be required, and if you select record type B, only that B field will be required.
Correct, but they seem to be showing up on both.
Yeah, uh, I'll make a general statement and then we can open it up and we can even test this out. But my understanding is that when you create that master detail relationship, it's got to be populated regardless as to the record type that you select, right? It's a required field if it's the detail side of the master detail. Um, so let me take a pause and we'll open it up. Does anybody have any other thoughts or anything on this? Now, I guess it really depends on the requirement and why you went with the master detail relationship. But maybe a different way to go if you don't need to have, some of the benefits of master detail, like, the security implications or the roll up summary fields and things like that. What you could do is convert those both to lookup relationships. And then based on the record type, you could put two validation rules in place, or maybe one, you can combine it. But basically just say, if you're creating or updating a record that's record type A, make sure that lookup field A is populated. And if you're, creating or editing a field that's record type B, make sure that lookup relationship B is populated. So that would kind of get you around having to make it a master detail.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
why is it a master detail?
I think they want to control the child records to the junction object.
So if the junction object is deleted, they want to get rid of the child object. They want to get rid of the other ones, or like, how is that?
Yeah, or they just want to make sure everything falls underneath the junction object. So, yeah.
I feel like you can still do that with a lookup, though.
Well,
I don't know. They may want that roll-up summary in the security, I think, as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think in that case, with the master details looking up the two parent objects, I think they're both going to have to be populated regardless.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Just want to confirm what I'm seeing. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to see it.
Question on that. So are they different field types for like record type A versus record type B? Like if they're both the same pick list, like if they're both pick list values or pick list fields, you might be able to set a dependency on the record type.
Yeah, I don't know if they're pick lists per se. I think they're separate objects actually.
Okay.
Where we're creating the master detail. So there's object, I don't know, for lack of a better word, object A and then object B and then object C or something is the junction. And then the junction is the relationship master detail to A and B. So it's the in between.
Yeah.
And then setting record types on C. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in this case, we're dealing specifically with the two parent objects, one junction object in between that's got the two master detail lookups. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely implications with record types with the pick list, like you're saying, Gabe. But I think in this case, that master detail is what's getting her.
Right.
That making it
Gotcha.
required. All right. Yeah, Julia, I think what we'll do is we'll see what other questions we have, and if nobody has any other questions after the two that we have in the queue right now, maybe we can build this out real quick and run some tests on this.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Stephen, what do you got?
So I was wondering if anyone's got like a good workaround for events to invite contacts as attendees in Lightning, because in Classic you can do it, but like it's not available in Lightning. And then the second part of that is then when the email is sent out, like how you can change the default email, because I can't see it exposed anywhere. But I want to add in like a link to, you know, add to calendar, add to Outlook. But I can't see where the email template comes from. And
Yeah, that's not something I'm familiar with. Anybody have any experience with that?
Wait, you can't find the email template that you created? You can't find the basic email template that you created in the classic email template? There's a Lightning email template? I missed that. I'm sorry.
like the default one that comes from Salesforce. So
Yeah,
when,
you can't influence that one. I tried that years ago, unless they changed it. But
okay,
as far as I remember, you can't get to that template.
right.
And I'm not sure about a workaround for Lightning.
Can you stop it being sent at all then?
That I think you can, but I would have to look that up. Give me a second.
Because if you could suppress it, I'm sure we could build something to
Yeah,
replace it,
yeah.
which is probably going to have to be your solution for the contacts is building something, you know, flowing it in there. But you'd have to repress that first auto
Yeah, it's everyone's
email
gonna
first.
get to be pretty annoying.
Yeah, is that a thing in Salesforce that you can suppress certain emails, like the standard emails? Like where do you even look for that?
I don't know. It sounds like Steven's got an idea though. So
There are some different settings, but they're kind of scattered all over the place. Like my employer does not like any automated emails to be sent out at all. So I have had to do an Easter egg hunt all over our back end to find where to turn off all these settings. And it's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just like all over the place. I was hoping that in setup, maybe under like deliverability or something like that, there would be kind of a
So a bunch of the system emails cannot be influenced unless you're a partner and have control over the TSO. So I was with a partner, ISV partner before, and we were able to change the templates, the layouts, and so on. But clients couldn't access that. We just provided them with what we said that's going to be the standard password reset email. That's going to be and we branded it with our ISV partner branding. So clients typically in an end client org, you cannot change those elements. I think unless you're on Ultimate, I'm not quite sure about that. And then with with the emails, normally I'm not 100% sure, but I thought the attendees in Lightnings will not get emails. It could be a setting in Chatter. I would have to dive in deeper into that. I would need a moment to review that.
Yeah, I was using like Calendar Anything, and then so they're like, you know, have their own interface.
Yeah.
And so with that, you know, you're still logged into Lightning, but in their interface, and then it'll still trigger that classic email being sent out.
Well, now hold on one sec here. So if we're talking calendar anything, that I do have a little bit of experience on. That when I think there's like a flow that generates those emails, right? Like it's in
it
like
seems like the exact same email that if you have a classic invitee.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. I just know that like the email. I'm trying to think if it's an email that gets generated. Yeah, I'm not sure. So this is how are people being added to the event? Is it all through calendar anything?
Oh, well, like I'm trying to find out if Calendar Anything is the right decision, because at the moment, yeah, they're like logging into Outlook and then just manually trying to add everyone. but then they're just like storing the information in two places.
Okay, I'm gonna roll back my statement. I know absolutely nothing about this. I was thinking Calendly in my head.
Oh,
Now I
okay.
figured it out. Okay, yeah, stand down. Yeah, I can't help you. So, Stephen, anything else on your side? Any thoughts before we
I'm just
declare this
putting
one
a,
round?
I'm just putting, and I haven't reviewed that yet fully, but I'm putting a help article from Salesforce in here where you could reach out to support and they could turn on only email users on events. Then it would skip outside attendees. But it does, when I just briefly read it across, and it sounds like it shouldn't even be doing it in Lightning, but I'm not sure if your setup is doing like a mixture, if it's any what is the name? I've worked once with that, not really. Anything calendar anything?
Calendar anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be that just picks up on classics still in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, they must.
But then you could still try that that route to turn that feature off, and then you have full control through a flow potentially that you send out the
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just because if I'm gonna have to do like a bunch of custom things within a flow anyway, then it's like, yeah, whether it's even worth using calendar or anything, or if I just have to do full
Right.
custom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, two things based on what the Stevens just said. One, I guess whenever you're dealing with like an App Exchange app, that probably would be the first place I would go. You know, Silverline CRM, I think it's still the one that
Yeah.
owns Calendar or anything, so maybe reaching out to them. And then as far as like Salesforce being able to help, if all else fails, it's sometimes not a bad idea just to submit a case, because Salesforce, they like there's stuff you can manipulate within setup yourself, like as the org owner, but then Salesforce has like this whole black tab behind the scenes, like toggles that they could switch for you. Um, so asking the question can't hurt, because they might be like, oh yeah, we got a black tab setting, just flip this.
Okay.
So yeah, worth reaching out to them.
Great. Thank you.
Great. Sorry we couldn't help you a little better there. All right, Anthony, what do you got?
I got another one of those really easy ones for you guys. I have forgotten how to assign dashboards / homepages to different profiles. So I need to have a dashboard for each different profile. So when they log in, they only see stuff that's important to them.
Why are you assigning it to profiles?
Because it's a talent stacker requirement.
They're using profiles and they won't let you use permission sets?
They don't let me do anything that we want, but like they have like a study group leader, and they want that study group leader to only see stuff that that person cares about. So I have dashboards for that study group leader profile. I have stuff for an experienced project leader, and I want to be able to just assign the dashboards to the homepage for those profiles. So it's not a particular person, but it's for the profile. At least that's what I was thinking. But if there's an easier way to do it, I'm all for whatever is easy.
It's not necessarily easier. It's just more in line with what Salesforce is going to be implementing and expecting moving forward. Ryan will come get my back on this one because I just had this issue.
Ryan might disagree on this one.
You might disagree on this one?
Well,
You
because
agree with me or you agree with him?
I'll talk. You you can make the home pages for the individual profiles and assign them that way, and then do your assignment for who you're going to assign the page to, because you can assign it to different apps or profiles or default.
That's what I thought was the easy way to do it. But when I try to do that, I only get it to every time I try to assign it to a profile through the page, it defaults for the whole stupid org. Like I can't.
Oh, and then why don't we walk through this? Let's take a look at this.
For the page or the dashboard, because those are two different things.
Sorry. For the dashboard, like if I log in as a person who has who is an experienced project leader, if I click on that and then click on the dashboard, it's the same one as it is if I log in as an admin and I try to assign it to a different dashboard for the
Who's
admin.
your dashboard view as?
What exactly? I mean,
Oh,
what is
that's
the
a good point.
requirement exactly? Is it they should see the data in the dashboard as what is interesting to them and what they should have control over, or is it the homepage itself?
I'm
and
trying
the
to have the
dash-
home. I'm trying to have the homepage itself be the dashboards for only that experience project leader. So there's
Right.
like 4 different experience project reports. I'll just show it to you guys. It'll take 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, let's take a step back here. All right. So going back to what Megan was talking about, I think what you were alluding to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were thinking like profiles versus permission sets, right? The issue there is that with permission sets, there's still no control over page access, right? That is still controlled through the profile as far as like assigning what Lightning page layer you're going to see. You can assign it to the app, the specific profiles, the org default, things like that, right? So setting that aside, I think profiles might be the way to go. And now we're talking about when users log in, the assumption there is that they all have the same app, but when they go to that home tab, you want one profile to see page with a dashboard and maybe a couple other components in there. And a
Yes.
different profile when they log in, they're going to see the same home tab with a different dashboard
Yes.
with a different
Yeah,
component.
that's what I'm attempting to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so setting that aside, I think profiles with the different home pages is a way. The other way that we might look at this too is if you have a home tab that all the components are going to be exactly the same except for the dashboard, right? So the project manager profile, when they log in, they should see the project manager dashboard. And when the business analyst log in, they should see the business analyst dashboard. Another way you could do that would be to have the same homepage layout, put the one dashboard on there, put a visibility filter to say if you're in this profile, display it. And if you're in a different profile, display this, dashboard, right? So 2 different ways you could do it. One based on the profiles where you're actually creating different homepage layouts, or a single homepage layout, and then you're controlling visibility to each individual component through visibility filters. What is the correct way, I think, is subjective and really depends on what else is going on those homepage layouts, right?
There's
If it's
nothing
completely
but
different, then
nothing but a
maybe,
dashboard.
yeah. So in that case, maybe visibility filters would be the way to go. Um,
That makes sense.
and I'm happy to just kind of demonstrate this real quick. Real quick, Andrea, I saw that you had a hand up. Any other thoughts or comments on this one?
Yes, if you want completely different dashboards, that's what Bill was referring to. If it's a dashboard with different data based on the user, but it's the same dashboard with the same reports, like filtered by owner, that's the viewer of the dashboard. And then you also have to make sure that you have shared that dashboard with the users that need to see it, and the folder. So you could have shared or like set the page to the profile, but if you don't share the dashboard, it's just going to come out a blank screen. And also make sure that they can see the object that is going into the report. Or else you'll also get a blank screen. Trying to think. And those are that's what I think were the
Yep.
2 big things off the top of my head. But you should log in if you can as the user
Person.
and check their view if it's really critical.
All right, so we can see your screen here. What do you got?
Yeah, this is like I said, here's the experience project dashboard, and I want that to be to just experience project leaders.
Yeah.
Then I have members. So I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I put them all on one.
Yeah. Well, so this would fall into option B that we were talking about. So
Right.
just from here, if you go up to your gear icon and click on edit page, let's see if we can dork around with that for a second. So the theory is that all the widgets, all the components of the homepage are the same, except for the dashboard. So in
Yep.
that case, what we could do, if you go to pick a dashboard, your first one, And once it
suppose.
renders, then we go over onto the right side.
I want to know how you put that whole picture on the back,
Well, whole picture.
Yeah,
the
well,
whole talent stacker picture.
oh, let's put a pin on that. We'll come back to that. That's a great question though, Megan. We'll with that in a second.
Thanks.
So okay, so you click on the dashboard, and then under that component visibility, go ahead and expand that the check on the right there. Go ahead and click on Add Filter, and then I believe I usually have to kind of work my way through this, but if you click on Select under Field, one of the options on there should be like Advanced, I think, or maybe it's User, I think is the and then if you go to Profile, there should be a relationship field for profile. Yeah, and then name. Yeah, and then go ahead and hit it, done. And then you can say whatever the profile name is here. You said it equals and then put like project manager or study group or whatever it is. Yeah,
I'll do study.
project member. Okay, and then what you would do is you go down to your next dashboard, do the exact same thing, but now you would say, you know, where whatever is equal to whatever. And then that way, whoever's looking at it based on their profile, they'll see one component or another.
And I put, what's the operator again?
Well, you want to go to
I
field
do
first.
field.
Always start with field. It's going to be user, profile, profile name. Yep. Then whoever, whatever. Yeah, and I would set the operator to equals unless there's a compelling
Oh.
reason what contains, which there might
Nope.
be. Maybe you
There's
want
not.
project managers, project members to see one, and some study members and study groups to see another, and then you could say contains study or contains project.
Sweet.
Right.
Thank you. This part, Megan, is just, I just did it in the Teams, the theme, and we put that, picture in. So I just went to, just get out of this and save.
But before you leave,
Oh, sorry,
Anthony,
go ahead.
what I'll often do here as well, if you're going to be doing something like that for profiles, is I'll also add in an or condition for the system admin, assuming that's what you logged in as, because otherwise you're not going to see this anymore and it can get confusing. So yeah,
Yeah,
often,
because I don't. That's a good point.
yeah. So if you do want that visible, yeah, then just add another filter and either condition is true.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah. I guess the only thing where it would get weird is if you had like 5 profiles with 5 different dashboards. I wonder if there's any issue putting them all on the same page, like a rendering issue or something.
We do that. We put all whatever, and then we put the visibility criteria on every single one.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
So I won't take up more time on this part. I can go back and do that. And then to answer Megan's question, unless there's other questions, and I don't want to take up other people's time.
Yeah, let's do it. I was going to share, but if you're already up, yeah, let's go do it.
What's wrong, bud?
I think themes is one of the
Yep.
most underused pieces of functionality on Salesforce.
Yeah, and the great thing about the theme is I actually have a meeting at 2:00 today for a potential client, and it's for a nonprofit. I went and got a nonprofit demo org, and I put the theme up, and it took me 2 seconds to do. And now when I go present it, it's going to have all of their logo stuff on it. So I just went to theme and activated this, but you can do a new theme and name it. For my other one is Old Town, and then you just have your pictures.
No, this is great because like I did it in my app, but when I built the app, I did the theming on the actual app builder, but I didn't go back into a theme and add the extra like this.
Yeah, and then you just stick this in here. And then you can grab the other one I had was from Canva. So I mean this is a different one, right? But you could go in here and pick whatever. this funky guy. I did a whatever. So here, this is for I did for a campaign for them. But
Yeah,
when you hit,
I was looking to see if I could see the address and the dates of that. That looks like a
I know,
compelling
right?
that's fun.
video there.
Yeah, it's a lumberjack one. It's pretty cool. Then you can change the brand colors here. Then when you hit save, you'll be able to preview it.
One more dumb question while you're on here in theming. Can you drag this if you have like an experience cloud attached to this org? Would you be able to move that over, or do you have to actually do it in an experience cloud?
I think you'd have to do an experience cloud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think
I don't know.
two
I only do
totally
it here.
separate things.
Okay. I didn't know if you could recreate it or like do a thing over there.
But you can save a theme in Experience Cloud and then apply it to all your Experience Cloud pages quickly.
Got it.
Yeah, so see, and if I put the other the Old Town here, right? Then you'll be able to, it'll show up on the where your little avatar guy is.
Hey, you tell me that's going to override Astro in that little circle up
I know,
there?
that's what I'm getting ready to, I want to see that. Poor
Oh.
Astro.
Okay, know that.
Yeah, see.
Unbelievable.
So now it's a really
Unbelievable.
neat marketing tool, and I can go in there and pitch. And I actually did so for I just hit campaign, I hit email, I created a quick email, which was this thing. I clicked 10 people, I added it to a campaign, I hit send. I got an email in my inbox that said it was sent, and click here for information. So now I'm gonna be able to demonstrate all that stuff for her because there's a very small, on nonprofit, but I'll be able to show her how you can do a quick email campaign, not having to buy Pardot or Marketing Cloud, and there you go.
Yeah,
Anthony over here stealing money out of Salesforce's pockets.
yeah.
What's important is that they actually use it and buy it. So yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's good.
Thank
Now,
you.
no, one other thing, Megan, that when it comes to themes, to keep in mind too, it's cool for like an org where you want to kind of brand the org to match like the company. But one of the other really good use cases for theming is if you have a dev org or one of some other org you create where you're doing like you test very catastrophic things and you write scripts that delete a bunch of stuff and it's like you're testing playground kind of thing. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go into those orgs where I do that kind of work and I'll set the theme where the background is like the most obnoxious red that you can find, or I'll put like the banner that says like, you're in the right place to do destructive things or whatever it is. And that way, if you see that, you know that you're in the place.
The bad
Do that.
org.
The
The
other thing is, Salesforce has their standard like blue and white kind of background. So
Yeah.
in my production org, we brand the colors there. That way, if I see those branded colors, I know that I'm in like the place where I should be a little more careful compared to like some other place, Sandbox or Dev org or something else. So yeah, interesting things you could do with the theming. I wish I could do theming based on like visibility filters. That'd be kind of cool. Think about that. Like you're logged in as an admin, you could have one theme, and if you're logged in as something else, you can have a different one. Yeah. But very cool, Anthony. Thank you so much for walking us through that. And while I'm on the topic of thanking people, I want to thank Steve Sanders because I just saw an email pop up that one of our clients is happy and he fixed the big problem that they had this morning. So thank you, Steve. There you go. All right. Any other questions on themes or visibility filters from the homepage before we open it back up to questions? One other thing, Anthony, you mentioned about saving money, going around paid services, things like that. One other thing that I found today, you might all have realized that I haven't posted any of the recordings for office hours in probably the last month, and I'm trying to get back into that. Part of the issue was my old laptop getting the recordings to render and then upload to YouTube took like 3 hours. It was horrible. But my new laptop, I was looking now that it's actually good. I'm getting back into getting those updated, and I was going to renew Camtasia. So that's like the video editing software I was using. However, did you guys know that DaVinci Resolve is like what they use to make movies, like on the big scale. And there's a free version of that that does everything that you can do in Premiere, whatever it is, Adobe Premiere, Camtasia, all those things that are paid, like a couple $100 a year subscriptions. You get it for free. It's great. So
What's it called
if you have,
again?
say that again.
What's it called?
It is DaVinci Resolve. Da Vinci, like the artist fella who invented helicopters, I think. Right? But yeah, so that's something to check out if you haven't checked that out. But yeah, let's open it back up to questions. Anybody else have any topics or things that they wanted to walk through today? And worst case scenario, we'll go back to that master detail lookup thing and see if we can figure that out. But I don't think it's doable. Scott, yeah.
Yes. So I'm having a little issue on like a custom object, set field history tracking, and go to the page layout and try to add that related list, and the related list is not there for the object history.
Did you select a field to actually track history for?
Yes. Selected 2 fields, try to go to the page layout, and
did you check?
it's not showing up.
You said it's a custom object, right?
Yes.
Can you check on the object itself if history is actually activated for that object?
Oh, well, I'm a dummy. There we go. That was that easy. I
Is
think
it- is it
yeah,
that?
it wasn't checked. No.
There you
Okay.
go.
Problem solved. That was easy. Thank you.
Yeah. And just to take 1 second here, let me just want to share my screen here, just so if folks aren't aware, they're not familiar with that. So if you were on a, let's see, do we have a project object here? Yeah. So if you're on a custom object that you've created or already existed in your org, you'll notice here that one of these options here is track field history. So if you were to, well, before I check that, if we were to go to fields and relationships, I can go in here to set history tracking and I can select a bunch of fields.
Yeah, it lets you do it.
Yeah, it lets you do it, which you would think it wouldn't until you turned it on. But if we go back here, before it would be available on the layout to actually show like the field history related list, you have to go back into the object and then check that box here for track field history. All right. While I'm here, I want to ask the group one quick question. Creating custom objects, has anyone ever messed around with these? And does anybody understand the implications of the enterprise application object or light application objects? Or does everybody do what I do and just leave them checked and then click save and move on with your day? I see them every time. I create an
I
object.
leave them checked. I've been leaving them checked because I don't know what the ramifications are if I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
checked.
It's one of those things I never looked into. So I don't know what the implications of unchecking them are. And I've never heard anybody in casual conversation talk about light application objects or enterprise application objects. So I have no idea. All right, figured I'd ask. All right, let's see. Anybody have any other questions or topics to go through for today?
I mean, if we run out of time or no one else has anything to talk about, I have a broken flow we can work on, but I do that if only if at the very end of everybody else's one.
I like working on broken flows, so we can look at that. I think that's always good learning material and fixing broken flows.
I'm literally fixing broken flows behind the scenes right now because mine keeps getting broken. Also, fun fact, it used to be only 10 documents could be uploaded per Ryan in a flow, and my tester decided to add 11 to see what would happen, and nothing happened. It accepted it. So now I have to go see how many you can actually put in on the document.
Try 26. I was checking the documentation, still says it's only 10 unless you request Salesforce to, well, it
And
says unless the admin increases it, which requires a case to Salesforce up to
and y'all know
25.
me. I didn't do it.
What is the, I'm just curious, not to go into a huge amount of detail, but what would be the use case for a screen flow where you want to upload more than 10 documents? Is this like some kind of onboarding thing? You got to load your stuff or?
Yeah.
My case?
Yeah, go
Or
give
yours?
your case. I have a case that's.
Yeah, my case is where I'm creating a database where they are going to be inputting all of their new government procurements. to keep track of everything. And so the amount of documentation that's related to each of those procurements with the different departments, the allocations, the items would definitely exceed 10.
And that's 10 or 26 or whatever it is per the entire flow, not just on the single screen.
No. Single use of the update.
Yes.
If you can loop back and use it again,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
as many times as you need.
Gotcha.
It's a component.
But I had built in like a warning to only add up to 10 at a time because of that, because I didn't put in a request. And then my QA went in this morning and she was like, I added 11.
Good QA.
I was
Good
like,
QA.
what? So now I have to go back in.
Right.
Yeah. Not that long ago on a project, we watched it break with 11. We requested the upgrade to 25 because our client was going to be uploading 72 at a time. And a different file needed to be uploaded for each of these kinds of an applicant in our system. And basically you would just upload the file from a list view button into a flow. You'd upload your PDFs and then it would go out and find the files to attach them to after. And so we made it so it's 25 and we had to put a big warning, only do 25. And then we just loop them back if they have more to do until they're done. And then.
So I'll let you know what it is now. Wait, Ryan, did you just try to do 26? Is that what you said?
No, I said you should try 26.
Oh,
See if
I'm getting ready to, I'm getting ready to try 26.
breaks.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do 26 right now. So I'll be back. Bye.
Interesting. All right, good to know. All right, Anthony, you want to? Oh, hold on one sec. John, you got a hand up. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm doing a super batch for them and it's stuck in something, whether I miss something is about account contact relationships. So let's say John Doe is working in ABC company. So when I added the contact, it becomes the direct relationship for that company. And then but as of last week, he left that ABC company, but now he's the CFO of XYZ company. So the instruction is don't remove the relationship in ABC company because they want to keep track of the history. He has done a big deal. So I went ahead and inactivated the contact for that ABC company, says inactive. And then on the relationship, I set the start date when he start and when's the end date, and then check the active flag to inactive. And then I went over to XYZ new company where he's a CFO, and then I added the contact, and then it also becomes the direct relationship to XYZ. So when I try to save, it says it's not, I'm still missing some relationship. So I'm not sure what else do I need to reference.
Yeah. So before we open it up for folks to answer this question, we should point out that super badges, we can't necessarily help on super badges as per Salesforce's policy on academic integrity or something, right? However, if you had a more general question about contacts, relationships with multiple accounts, I think we could probably dig into that a little bit. Does anybody have any direct experience with this? Essentially, there's like contacts, you can relate them to specific accounts where they're like directly related. And then there's the ability to have a single contact that could be related to multiple accounts. Anybody have any experience with this that wants to walk through it? Or I could share my screen and we can figure it out together.
Wouldn't that just be a junction object you would have to create?
That is a way. I don't think that would be the best way in this particular case.
There already is a junction object technically.
Yeah, isn't it the contact account junction object? Or account contact junction object or something like that?
There's a account contact object.
My org
created.
has that already in place. I don't know if it was set up when I came in. It's called related contacts. It's a related list.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called ACR. It's standard.
All right, so let's take a look at this again. I don't know about the super badge. I didn't want to bring it up on the page or anything like that to look at the requirements, but we can at least take a look at. Anybody know how to turn that thing on? that multiple counts per contact thing?
It should be in the system settings, I think it's called.
I dropped a link in the chat, and now I'm done. I'm not going anywhere near super badges.
Yeah. Contact role.
Do you want to search for setting? I think it's some setting that you have to.
Oh, the last thing I looked at in chat was the National Peanut Butter Day.
Yeah, he's already set it up on mine.
Yeah, there's instructions to turn it on in there.
Right. So setting the account settings. So what do I look for? Contact, of course. Let's look. Account settings. Then we had, allow users to relate a contact to multiple accounts. Now, before I turn the thing on, I'm just curious here. If I were to go over to whatever this nonsense is, let's see. So we got related list here. We have, okay, so no, nothing related to like related accounts. And then if we go to details, we have our standard account lookup field here. So in theory, I'm curious if I were to just to turn on this fella. Yep. And now this is where I want to make sure I'm in the right org. Okay. And we'll save. And without doing anything else, I'm kind of curious if this allows me to, or if it like adds this onto the layout for me, or if I have to go in there and manually add the thing. Let's see. Okay. Now we might have to wait a few hours. So if you guys want to get coffee, we'll wait to see what this does. But there you go. All right. So that looks like it's done. Now if I go back to my contact thing, instead of just hitting refresh, I'm going to do the old comfy compact thing. Let's just see if we see it there. And not, I'm going to edit the page and we'll take a look there and then we'll see. No, so I don't see any related accounts or anything like that. Let's edit page. And if we just keep it simple here, we'll do related list single. I threw that up there. Related accounts. Oh, that's lame. All right, so you still make you do the page layout. So we won't make it simple. We'll do dynamic related list, which should let me select related accounts, and it's not going to care about the if it's on the page layout or not. Yeah, so I think for those that might not be familiar with, having contacts that can be related to multiple accounts, that's the way you do it. You turn on that account settings on the account side and on the contact side, then you can add that related accounts or related contacts list view. And from there, I can have that one contact related to two different accounts. So you can imagine a world where you have like a Salesforce account executive, for example, that works on, account A and works on account B, and you want to document that relationship somehow, you can do it from here. So, in this case, the default one is here. That's the direct relationship. And I'm assuming that I should be able to create a new one from here, right? I just not get the button. Is that what it is? Let's see. So if we go back and edit this guy, dynamic related list lets you control the actions down here. So I'm assuming there should be a new action. Oh, there you go. Add relationship. Save that. And now if I'm going to relate Mr. Gonzalez to a different account, I should be able to do add relationship. I should be able to select a different account, put a role on there, and then click save. And then we can see the difference here. We have one where he's the direct, directly related to. So again, in our Salesforce account executive example, you can imagine that would be like the Salesforce account. And then if he's working with, two other clients to do something, then you could relate them there as that indirect, and then
That would
give it
also
an
be
appropriate
a
role.
that'd also be a good thing for if they're on boards. So they work for Edge Communications, but they're on the board of two other companies that you're trying to maybe get into. You could put down that for boards, so that way you can kind of track who else you might be able to go after from a sales perspective.
Yeah.
One
Now, just one final note, and then again, this will be as far down the path of super badges as we go. But the other thing to kind of look at are these settings here. As far as what happens when, direct accounts are deleted, contacts are deleted, all that good stuff. So something to look at as well for those settings. I hope that points in the right direction, but again, you just got to be very careful with the super badge thing.
Yeah, the second part is right now, he's the direct relationship for edge communication, right? But if he no longer work in that direct company, but become a new relationship with a new company, do you need to add the relationship for the new company in the old company and keep the old one there as inactive? And is that the additional step that I need to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if I had make that a little bit more of a generic question, and I got to figure out why this is screen 2 all of a sudden. It makes me select it every time. In any case, so from here, I guess the question is like, what if the relationship changed where he's now like an indirectly related to Edge, but now he's directly related to Burlington? My understanding is, and again, I'm just spitballing here, I have no idea. But if I were to come in here, now that he's got relationships to both, I'm curious what happens if I just switch his primary relationship here to Burlington. Okay, so it keeps the old one, and now it shows him directly related to Burlington. Now I did that, by modifying the lookup on the contact itself. But now I'm curious, can I do that directly from here? So can I do edit relationship? Okay, so what I was wondering if I was going to see here was something that like you can uncheck the direct relationship, which you can. Now if I go here, do edit here, same thing. So you can't edit that direct. I think, again, unless there's some other kind of setting or something that we're missing here, I think the only way to edit that directness is through the lookup on the contact itself. That's my understanding.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony, I don't know if we're gonna have time to troubleshoot your flow. We got 3 minutes left.
No worries.
Yeah. That's it. Anybody have any other questions or anything they wanted to hit before we part ways here?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's more of like a crowdsourcing question. So if you have, how we have this constant conversation about buy versus build.
Yeah.
When in general, someone is like a Salesforce admin or a developer is considering whether it's a buy or build. My question for the crowd is where are you going to check if you want to buy? So are people going directly to App Exchange? Are they going to Google? Like where? I know where I start, but I'm curious where others start for that search.
I'll give my opinion and we can open it up. But when it comes to Salesforce apps, in general, I always start on the App Exchange. Just because you Google, you're going to get a lot of noise for stuff that has nothing to do with the platform, right? So yeah, I typically start on the App Exchange, and then if it came down to like I need to find a good project management application, right? So I'd go to the App Exchange, maybe go to the project management category. I would look at the prices that they have listed there, and then of course see if there's any kind of free apps that are available. If there are no free apps, then you got to start pricing them out. But I think the biggest thing is just identifying what is the absolute required functionality that you need before you do that search. Because you might find, okay, I found the app that's got what I need, but it's like $20 a user a month, and all I need is a project object and a milestone object because I just need to keep track of dates, right? So like I think identifying the requirements first is a big part of that. But anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually recently had a requirement client wants to integrate with WhatsApp, and I have a little bit of a multi-pronged, and I typically do that approach. I also check App Exchange, but I do check the blogs that are very Salesforce specific, like Ben's, right? Because typically you can find an article somewhere that will summarize what are your options. That will give you insight. Okay, what is my client actually looking for? And if they didn't really put down that requirement just yet. They just said, and in this case, I had exactly that. They said, we want to integrate with WhatsApp. And I was like, well, that could go 100 ways, and it depends on your budget, right? And how you want to go about it and what features you want to have. So my best way there is really to pull together the information and then double check again on App Exchange. Obviously, so I had this request 3 years ago, and then I updated my research now according to that, what I knew already, because I knew, okay, something might have happened since then. It has. So yeah.
Yep. And with that, we're out of time. But my last comment I would say is one other thing to look at would be Salesforce Ben. I think a lot of times they have these great articles that are like, we reviewed the top whatever apps for this topic, and so you don't have to, like, that kind of stuff. So that's always a good place to go to, just to see if they've done that kind of work. But with that, we are over time. So I appreciate everybody's questions and feedback, and hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll catch up next week.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
all.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Right. Have a good weekend.